Taiwan's economy in 2024 was one of the fastest-growing economies in the entire East Asian region. They have benefited extensively from the booming demand in high technology, especially driven by the artificial intelligence (AI) revolution. Here's a graph on Taiwan's quarterly GDP growth. Data from the National Statistics, Republic of China. Here you can see that the quarterly GDP growth of Taiwan has been slowing down since the first quarter of 2024. But overall, the economy of Taiwan grew at an annual pace of 4.3%, which outpaced many major Asian economies. Here's a comparative graph on the economic performance of major Asian economies. Here you can see that Taiwan has performed much better than South Korea, Hong Kong, and Singapore, which are some of the other Asian tiger economies. This strong economic performance is, as we just mentioned, driven by the AI revolution. But of course, there's more to this than just the AI revolution, and that's what we are going to discuss today. The economic performance of Taiwan in 2024. What were the key drivers for its economy? Did it have any problems? Well, let's find all of these out, starting with a sectoral breakdown on what areas had led to strong economic growth. Let's first start with the manufacturing and high-technology sector of Taiwan. The manufacturing sector is the heart of Taiwan's economic performance. Here's a graph on Taiwan's manufacturing production growth rate year over year by month, data from the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Taiwan. Here you can see that for the entire year of 2024, manufacturing has incredibly grown. For the last month of 2024, which is December, manufacturing production grew by over 20.79% year over year. This strong performance was largely driven by the semiconductor segment, where companies such as Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, have become global leaders. TSMC's performance in 2024 was especially noteworthy. Amid a global surge in demand for AI chips and high-performance computing, TSMC reported record revenues and profits. For example, in the fourth quarter, TSMC's profits surged by 57% to reach 374.7 billion new Taiwan dollars, approximately $11.4 billion US dollars. A jump attributed largely to booming demand from AI-related applications and a rebound in advanced process technology. In addition, high-performance computing revenue for the year increased by 58%, while sales of smartphone chips also grew by 23%. These numbers clearly demonstrate how the semiconductor and related high-tech industries have become the backbone of Taiwan's economic strength. On top of manufacturing, the overall exports of Taiwan have also grown tremendously. This is a given because TSMC and the manufacturing sector have grown due to the AI sector, and the products that they sell are then exported globally, impacting Taiwan's overall exports. Here's a graph on that matter. Here you can see that from 2023 to 2024, exports of Taiwan have grown from $31.4 billion in the first month of 2023 to over $43.3 billion by the last month of 2024, which shows how much exports there were from Taiwan to the rest of the world. Just to show you how important exports are to Taiwan's economy, let's pull up the GDP growth rate by quarter of Taiwan and the contributors to the growth. Here, you can see that for the entire year, Taiwan's economy grew at 4.3%. But the key contributor here isn't actually the exports of goods and services, but rather domestic demand. Domestic demand saw a 4.67% growth rate year over year, whilst the net demand of the rest of the world saw a negative 0.37%. The reason being is because Taiwan's imports grew at a much faster pace than exports. They were basically importing raw materials, components, and equipment which negatively impacted the net trade balance. And a key figure that stood out here was the gross capital formation, which saw a growth rate of 2.97%. This gross capital formation represents the investment in physical assets such as machinery, infrastructure, factories, and production equipment. In simpler terms, Taiwan wasn't just importing more to consume. It was investing heavily in expanding its industrial and technological capabilities. Furthermore, you can also see the reason why Taiwan's economy performed below the entire year in the last quarter of 2024. And that's because the net demand had seen a big drop of negative 3.50%. This is again driven by imports. But what helped it keep pace is the domestic demand, again driven by gross capital formation. Now, other than exports and manufacturing, Taiwan also saw consistent growth in their monthly earnings. Here's a graph on the monthly working hours of each employee of Taiwan, data from the Directorate General of Budget, Accounting and Statistics. Here you can see that from January to November of 2024, which is the latest data available as of the time of writing, Taiwan's average monthly working hour sits at 168.2 hours, which is in line with previous years. But as you can see here in this newly updated graph about the total monthly earnings of each employee, data from the same source, you get to see that the earnings have grown. In 2023, the monthly earnings was 45,197 new Taiwan dollars on average. But as of November of 2024, it grew to 46,667 new Taiwan dollars, which is an impressive growth. These are all likely because of the strong economic performance of Taiwan and how the country benefited from the AI boom. It is a good reminder that it was not only TSMC that helped push the overall economic performance of Taiwan. Foxconn, another technological giant based in Taiwan, recorded a staggering 76% increase in stock value during 2024. Traditionally known for assembling smartphones, Foxconn has diversified its operations by expanding into the production of AI servers and related components for major US tech giants such as Amazon and Nvidia. The gains reported by Foxconn and other players like MediaTek, UMC, and so on, then reinforced Taiwan's reputation as a global epicenter for technological innovation and high-tech manufacturing, which are all impacting Taiwan's economy. Finally, let's talk about the government's role for 2024. What did the Taiwanese government specifically do? 2024 was a big year for Taiwan because it saw the transition of presidencies. In May of 2024, the president of Taiwan changed from Tsai Ing-wen to Lai Ching-te. This meant new goals, different foreign policies, and economic policies. But what stayed true is the fiscal policies that were implemented by the previous president, Tsai Ing-wen. Here's a graph to show you what changed during 2024. Let's first start with revenues. Overall revenues of the government have increased from 2023. That is a given, as you can see in the graph. Revenues grow every single year, with only a few outliers like 2023. This money, as we often mention in our channel, is channeled into various expenditures like education, healthcare, national security, and so on. So, what did the government spend the most in 2024? Well, here's a graph on their expenditure by component. This is a total of 2.88 trillion new Taiwan dollars worth of spending. Here you can see that the most Taiwan has spent on for 2024 was social welfare, followed by education, science, and culture, and then economic affairs. The role of the government isn't really that substantial in Taiwan's economy. Their contribution is much less as compared to other developed Western economies. Nevertheless, it is good to show what they did for 2024. Now, Let's talk about the expectations for 2025 before we end the video. For 2025, there's quite a number of challenges that Taiwan will be fighting. A major external risk was the changing US trade policies under the new Trump administration. Uncertainty about tariffs and export restrictions created market instability. According to Reuters, Taiwan's Financial Supervisory Commission cautioned that this uncertainty could become the new normal. While Taiwanese companies tried to reduce risks by expanding production overseas, geopolitical tensions remained a challenge. There may also be challenges to the rapid growth of the AI boom. Overall, according to updated estimates, Taiwan's real GDP is projected to grow by around 3.29% in 2025, a slight moderation compared to the 4.3% growth for 2024. This deceleration is partly attributed to a natural slowdown following a period of rapid expansion, as well as persistent external uncertainties related to global trade and geopolitical dynamics. Inflation, which is estimated to be around 2.17% in 2024, is expected to ease slightly in 2025, with projections around 1.91%. Lower inflation would help stabilize consumer spending and provide a more favorable environment for long-term investment. So, as you can see, Taiwan did have a good 2024. For 2025, however, there's quite a number of uncertainty. But anyway, do let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.